Greetings, Mechwarriors, and welcome back to MW5. We are, of course, now the MacJedi Free Company with our suitably tartaned mechs. I've actually discovered the thing I chose is... I can't bring it up just now. Actually, no, I probably could. Can I? I don't know. If we run into my cabin, can I see it on the screen? But basically, it is the symbol of the Northwind Highlanders, which is one of the, I think, more long-established mercenary groups in the Inner Sphere. No, it won't let me. So, if I can figure some way to mod that to something else later on, then I don't know. Either that, or we'll just bump into the Northwind Highlanders at some point, and we'll do that Spider-Man meme where we point at each other, possibly. Yeah. So that was a thing that I didn't realise until after I'd picked that particular symbol. But you know, it's close enough. It's something to do with the sincerest form of flattery or something. Yeah, let's just go with that. Anyway, so this is kind of the last of the tutorial missions, I believe. We have to basically defend an interstellar expeditions dig. Why has that still got the Nyx Cavaliers symbol behind it? Don't know. Anyway, and yeah, basically we're defending an archaeological site, and it's kind of an interesting look at one of the probably more lucrative businesses across the Inner Sphere of basically just excavating old Star League ruins for technology and, you know, maybe even mech parts and whatever else. So, yeah, it's really only in this one mission, though. You don't get any later, i.e. defend this archaeological dig missions, sadly. So it's really just limited to the start of the story. I think I said in the first episode that yeah, this game is pretty limited story-wise. Occasionally some more interesting stuff pops up, but it does tend to be like this. It's just kind of a one-off thing that doesn't really show you anything about the rest of the Inner Sphere. Okay, so hopefully that is... no, our mechs are not yet repaired. It's going to be 20 days before we can... In fact, it's going to be more than a month before we can do this contract. So, we can... I mean, it'll just auto-skip. But yeah, we can take the Centurion for this. And... I know for a fact we're going to get another pilot and a light mech at the end of this. We'll just go for the C-bill payout and damage coverage. No, let's go for an extra salvage share and see if yeah, I think this early on doing damage coverage probably not that much worth it. Right, so yeah, we're going to have to wait the 30 odd days. There's very few missions in this that are in any way time gated. It almost feels a bit like Fallout 4 in that regard, in that you can basically ignore things for ludicrous amounts of time and it just doesn't affect anything. It's not just Fallout 4, lots of games do that where they don't really put time limits on stuff, sometimes to a ridiculous degree, and this game is definitely one of them. But interestingly, for some of the DLC stuff they did, some of the DLC stuff is tied to when the corresponding historical events of the Inner Sphere actually happen. And so if you miss, like, it does give you a fair bit of lead-in warning, so you have to kind of deliberately choose to miss doing them. But yeah, if you miss them, then that's it. You can't go back and do them again later on. So it's sort of partial credit for that, I suppose, for actually having those things be at the fixed points in the timeline when they actually occur. I suppose the rest of it is just, it can really happen whenever.
Warning. Hangar doors.
So,
Stand clear.
here we are. And I've actually, I think I tweaked some of the settings since last time. So some of the things like shadows are on medium and things, so it's not quite as good looking as it could be, but I sort of prefer stability of frame rate over good lookingness when it comes to videos, for the most part. So yeah, we've got a couple of allies here, but they're pretty beat up. There's that guy in his Jenna, and then there's the guy in the blackjack who's just like, I'm out of here! Except I think he turns around. Or is he just running away? I don't know. There's also some turrets that we can help turn back on. So, is it worth using a... We don't get to have ammo replenishment, but we will get the option of fixing our armour. So that is something to bear in mind, as long as it doesn't blow through and do structural damage, because structural damage it can't repair. I don't think it's just the outer armour. This is one of very few missions where that's a thing as well. It mostly isn't a thing. Right, these J. Edgars are being... Come here, you wee bugger. They're doing a fairly serious amount of damage. Mr. Blackjack, it would have been nice for you to... Like, that's my front armour gone through already, for goodness sake. Those SRMs hit hard, they really do. We don't have even... We don't even remotely have access to... Goodness sake, that was a ridiculous amount of damage to have taken that early. AMS, anti-missile systems, CWIS basically. I don't know why they didn't call it CWIS, it's essentially just CWIS. That is a thing that you get later on, at least it is certainly with the YAML mods. I'm not sure if the base game has it. Right, we might have to actually see if we can go use that repair thing right away, because we're already in a pretty dire state, as it turns out. It's either that or sort of save scum a bit and restart the mission, but if I die, of course, we'll have to redo the mission anyway. So yeah, even though we now have the 50-ton mech, we still have these triple strength vehicles to deal with. Yeah, let's make a beeline to the repair bay and hope that we can use it right away, because otherwise I am a bit doomed. I think it's over on this side. I don't remember it being this misty. Let's turn on the thermal vision. Have I walked past it? Where's the thing? It's somewhere. It's not that thing there, but it's like a big boxy thing you basically can go and stand inside. There's only one other mission I can think of where it actually had the repair bay. I don't know, this is a thing it'll ping you to do later, but you can actually go and do it before the objective turns up. I think there's another one over there as well. Right, we can get some LRMs over on these things, I guess. Is this it here and it hasn't popped out of the ground yet? Oh, thank you, Windows. I wanted a doo-doo noise. I don't know what was... I have no idea. It's decided something's not connected or something. I have no clue. Right, I think it was that pedestal there and it hasn't popped out of the ground yet, so I can't use it, so... I might be a bit stuffed because I'm already on orange structural damage. And yeah, we haven't even had the mechs yet. This is still just the vehicles. Right, there's the other thing over there. Although, are there even any... Is that like the last functional turret at this point? Not sure. Please don't shoot me! I come in peace, in a rather Mars Attacks sort of way.
Yeah, said you guys needed some reinforcements.
Right.
That's an understatement. My entire lance was wiped out. They came down on us like a ton of bricks, out of nowhere. Wave after wave. Been holding them off as best I can, but...
for 33 days or something, I don't know.
Well,
Right, there's that blackjack. He did come back. He didn't just run off and stay in the corner. But yeah, it's basically me and there's Jenna. And I'm not looking so hot.
See some friendly faces.
we still need to protect this site.
Right, has that thing come out the ground now? I think it
Coming
has.
back soon enough.
I
Like said,
absolutely
they've
have to
taken
use
waves,
that.
And they haven't shown any signs of letting up.
You do get a lot of that, by the way. And it is purely just down to the fact that the game, like, unlike Rogue Tech, unlike modded HBS Battletech, I don't think there's any way to have like more than 4 of your mechs on the ground. I don't know what I was. I don't know why I was struggling for the word there, but
Looks like a mix of
yeah,
airborne
mechs.
and enemy armor, Commander.
And it's not possible to field more than 4. So the missions all have to be structured around that fact. So you do just get waves after waves. Like, really, it would make sense for them to, sort of attack all in one go rather than just having these small little waves of guys. But no, I'm aiming terribly at that. We'll send some missiles. It's fine. So yeah, it doesn't make much sense, but it's just one of those things. Like many other things in the game, you just have to wave your hand and go, well, it's because it's it's because it's a game, and it wouldn't really work otherwise.
Target destroyed. Target acquired.
I mean, it would maybe be interesting to see a mech game go down the sort of route of like, Gaijin or DCS, I guess, where there's sort of model component damage and just like Gunner Tank PC or Gunner Heat PC, whatever that more recent game is called. I think that does that as well. I don't know. I've watched a couple of videos of it. Looks like they're adding some cool stuff to it, but yeah, that kind of like modeling penetration mechanics and components and stuff, like it would be a very different sort of game, and it would certainly be a fair old move away from the tabletop, because you couldn't really do that kind of thing in the tabletop without excessive levels of maths, essentially. I don't think it would work very well, but it's the kind of thing you can do, however, in a video game. Right, we still have a fair few rounds of AC-10 left. I think we basically just need to keep the site from like total destruction, as long as it's over 1%. So we're not doing that well, but as long as it's over 1%, it's fine.
Stay on him.
Right, there's something somewhere still, clearly. Oh, there's another wave. Wave after wave of their own men. Okay, so they were just spawning in. Well, we do have one turret for backup at least. The turrets, even with the health buff to the turrets, are still pretty easy to take out. Not especially tough. That is a lot of VTOLs. There's probably more VTOLs than you see in any other
Keep up the pressure.
single mission, to be honest. I don't remember any other where you just see quite this many. Right. Oh, I was a smidgen too quick for launching those missiles there. They won't... You have to have the lock on before you launch the missiles, otherwise they will not change course.
Target acquired.
Now it's only the AC-10, we can sort of aim up that high, okay. Some... Oh, there we go, he's going down. Some vehicles, some mechs are actually
To my lance mates.
far better suited for AA work. In fact, there's a specific quirk that's like, AA targeting that I think gives you a bonus. Like it literally gives you a lead reticle as well. for air aiming, but yeah, just because they have the gun elevation, so actually the Irby can be quite decent because its arms can elevate all the way up. Are they even arms on an Irby? I mean, technically, I suppose, but they're more like weapon pods or something, I guess. But yeah, things like the Rifleman, the Jaeger mech, they all do very well, just because they can elevate really high. But of course, if it's anything that's reliant on center torso-mounted weaponry, that's not going to do so well, because your mech can only lean so far back, as it were. Right, we're actually doing not too bad. The fact that we were able to make use of that heal station. I really wish more missions utilised that, but they don't. Even the like the Warzone missions, which are kind of repeatable, or not repeatable. I mean the sort of generic missions like Warzone, where you sort of just get waves and waves of stuff coming at you, and once you've done a certain number you can withdraw or you can stick around. But even sometimes like beachhead missions, if it was like an optional thing of, you know, sometimes it will spawn with one of the repair bays, and again I didn't wait quite long enough. It's just a waste of flight of missiles. I'm not sure what happens if you lose lock like that. Like, do they keep going towards where you want them to go? No. There's no such thing, by the way, if you're thinking, you know, if the specific sort of like anti-air mechs, obviously being the ones that have the anti-air quirk, why isn't there, like, you know, specific anti-air types of ammo? Well, you'd think there would be, but no. There's just no types of ammo. There's yet another way in which this game is very sort of, I almost want to say arcadey. Like, even compared to World of Tanks, everything, like all of your ballistics and all of your missile weaponry, they just literally shoot one kind of ammo pretty much. There is with YAML, especially with missiles, you get different kinds of missile launchers. So you can't have one missile launcher and multiple types of ammo. No, you have to have like a whole other missile launcher for like mag-pulse missiles and stuff like that. But yeah, there's no like, oh, I'm going to load in some heat ammo or some AP, FD, SP, BYOB, something. I don't know my ammo types, I'm being facetious now, but you know what I mean, different kinds of ammo for different targets. You know, you can't get sort of airburst flak ammo for taking out air targets or anything like that, so yeah. And again, it would be more interesting, or it would be interesting to see a more realistic take. See a game that actually tried to do something with that more level of realism. But it would be a very different sort of game. I think it would be on the level of the same level of Mechwarrior. Right, we're down to a quarter health. We're not doing that well. Maybe if I was, well, maybe if I was blethering a bit less. But I still like to think I'm paying a reasonable amount of attention to what's going on. Right, it's that SRM-20 carrier, and I think that's it. I would like that arm with my AC-10 is red, and I would like not to lose that. Because that is... I think a weapon I would struggle to replace at the moment. I'd have to find somewhere that sells it.
Sensor sweep detected.
That, by the way, that voice message, if you're wondering why that's so much louder than the rest of the voices, that's part of the, I think, the TT Rules AI mod, which does not seem to come with any kind of volume control, so yeah. That is not where I was looking at all. Or trying to aim. Yeah, so that's just going to be much louder, annoyingly, whenever it comes up. There's not a lot I can do about that. Right, we're gonna have to... Oh dear, they're both ganging up on me. Can I... Oh!
Commander, come in.
Oh dear. No, they just sniped my cockpit. I actually did have enough armour there, but that wasn't a cockpit snipe. Right, we're gonna have to restart that one. That's annoying. But, yeah. Occasionally restarts will be required.
Attention. Prepare for battle mech departure. Warning. Hangar doors opening. Stand clear.
Online. Sensors online. Weapons online. All systems.
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of wish I had some SRMs on this thing, but that would sort of go against my modification rules, so yeah. Again, the armour is getting worryingly low. I mean, they're, say, only SRM2s, but that means they fire very quickly, and SRMs are nasty. Right, it's going maybe a little better this time, maybe.
Target destroyed.
Need to switch on the other
Sensor
set
suite
of
detected.
turrets.
Target acquired.
Let's see, SRM carrier over there we need to deal with. I think that's the last of this wave. Don't think there's anything else aside from that. Nope, that was into the ground, unfortunately.
It's a hell of a lot easier clearing these bastards
Right,
out
there we
with
go.
Commander.
Right, hopefully we can get the armor repair again,
Yeah, said you
because,
guys needed some reinforcements.
yeah.
That's an understatement. My
Right.
entire lance was wiped out.
Yeah, if you're wondering why there's flicking, by the way, it's a slightly annoying effect. If you take torso damage,
I can, but
you get that kind of
held out much longer.
flickery. I don't know if it's supposed to be like electrical or
I appreciate that.
if it's like, oh yeah, you're on
Tell
fire.
you how good it is to see some friendly faces.
But yeah, it's a little irritating. I won't lie, because it's just, you know, flicky in the corner of your eye.
Haven't shown any signs of letting up.
Anyway, let's once again get prepared and get ready for the next wave. So there we go, looking much better. We've still got that yellow torso area, but
Mix of airborne and enemy armor, Commander.
yeah. Otherwise, we're almost back to full health on our armour. Still have that annoying flicky in the in the corner of my eye though. Right, let's try and take out these flyers. No, apparently I turned too quickly there.
Target
Keep
acquired.
the target lock.
Target destroyed.
Well, I'm not doing too well with hitting these things with the AC-10, annoyingly.
Target destroyed.
There is, I was talking about the there being a sort of lead if you have the an air defense mech. There is actually later on you get like advanced ballistic computers that will give you a lead indicator for all ballistics, essentially. Although if you have multiple different calibers of ballistics, let's say, I don't know how it deals with that, or if it doesn't actually matter. The way the game calculates these things.
Target destroyed. Target acquired.
Right. So this is ground wave. And hopefully we can go into that final bit with the mechs in a slightly better state. Although, last time round, you know, the cockpit armor was okay up until it wasn't, so yeah.
Target destroyed.
Cockpit snipes are absolutely a thing. Right, you can die. But even if you get cockpit snipes, I think there's still an element of RNG as to whether you get the maximum number of mech parts or not. Certainly with the base game there is anyway. I think the YAML mods rebalance that somewhat. Right, the next wave should be coming over here, I think. Sure nice if I could pop in for another heal while I've got time, but alas, that's a one-shot thing.
Stay on him.
Yeah, the only other mission I can think of where you do get to use one of those is one of the is it Heroes of the Innisphere? I can't remember, the 4th Succession War DLC. Hey, actually got to hit him that time. Yeah, so there's a mission there where you're literally in a mech factory that we'll probably see ourselves later on, where you can use them. But it's otherwise, it's given that it's a thing in the game and it introduces the mechanic to you really early on, it's then incredibly underutilized. The game, like, I certainly the first time round playing through this, I was like, oh, okay, this is a thing that's in the game. I guess we'll see these in some missions then. And then I basically just never did until that one story mission later on. So, yeah, it sort of sets up a bit of a false expectation, to be honest. It's not great game design. Yeah, this is totally a thing you can expect to see later. Oh, wait, no it isn't. Okay. Right, so I think that's all the flyers dealt with. Apparently, we lost the ability to make fighters and jets, and there are only helicopters in the future. Superior helicopter technology, you don't need any of that, you know, flying quickly nonsense. No, helicopters are where it's at. Yep. I don't know if there's even a kind of canon explanation as to why that would be. I know there are sort of dual purpose what are called aerospace fighters, so they sort of can work both in atmosphere and in space as well. Kind of like the that was a version of the Fury fighters from Babylon 5. I think one of the later seasons they had a version that could fight in both space and was capable of atmospheric flight as well. But yeah, outside of the aerospace fighters, there doesn't really seem to be any use for jet planes. I think the helicopters and the Eagles are kind of an invention of the game. And I don't know if it's this game or if it's HBS Battletech. Although, is it even HBS Battletech? I know Rogue Tech has like helicopters and things, and you can even field helicopters as part of your lance. It's like a, you know, support vehicle, but I have no idea. The idea of helicopters as combat vehicles must be a thing within the setting for it to have appeared in both places, surely. Or it might be total coincidence. Or maybe this game took some cues from the mod, I don't know. I don't think there are any other kinds of ground vehicles in Mechwarrior Online. But I could be wrong about that. I mean, you could use them to do quite a fun sort of
Even in the unlikely event that
whatchamacallit, like MOBA style, is it MOBA I mean? Like you have the mechs as the god, whatever they're called in, like, you know, League of Legends and games like that, where you've got the creeps or the mobs or whatever the hell they're called. You could have the ground vehicles that, and then the heroes as the mechs. Not that I would enjoy playing that style of game, but you know, you could sort of make something workable out of that, I'm sure. Right, time to die, LRM, and then I think now we have, yeah, there we go, the dropship. Right, maybe let's start off at slightly longer range this time. These guys, by the way, just rando baddies. Don't tie into anything. I don't think we ever see them again.
Medium mechs.
The bigger they are, the harder they fall.
Right, so, pair of medium mechs. I think we actually have more turrets left going this time. But as you see there, yeah, they get knocked out pretty quick. Turrets are definitely fodder. Jenna's actually in pretty good shape, though. Right, okay, this assassin is coming in. Actually, a medium. Some of the mediums are more like semi-lights or semi-mediums. The sort of 40-tonners, which are technically medium tanks, but like only just.
Target destroyed. Target acquired.
I think the assassin might be one of them if memory serves. Right, the Griffin though, that's very firmly, is that 45, 50 tons, something like that? It's a bit chunkier. Oh, ouch. Ah, you got a PPC. PPCs are nasty. I wonder if I took a PPC to the cockpit. I wonder if that's what knocked me out. Right, you have... I think they overheated for a second there. Is that the PPC? Yeah, that's the PPC. So we want to try and... There we go. That's the dangerous bit. Let's see if we can take out the cockpit now. Right, can't use his LRMs. He's actually basically stuffed. He literally can't do anything. He can run up to me and hit me. I'm trying to hit the cockpit, but somehow it's hitting the center torso. Somehow it's hitting the center torso. Yes, that's a good sentence. Right, well I didn't die this time. Woo, do the mech dance. Woo. Everybody do the mech dance!
Just wanted to say thanks for the rescue.
That's a thing. It's the victory dance of the Mechwarrior. It's a well-known canonical thing. I'm not just talking nonsense, honestly.
Good pilots. I don't think I could have held out much longer myself.
Also, we're about to hire a guy.
I appreciate it.
I'm glad we were able to help. Just wish we'd gotten here sooner.
Me too.
You know, we could always use another pilot. One with your skills, he'd come in awful handy. What do you think?
After today? Hell, it'd be an honor to serve with you, Commander.
Then consider it done. Welcome aboard.
Now, presumably this guy has a contract with Interstellar Expeditions, and we've totally just poached him out of nowhere. But, you know, apparently that's fine. We don't have to pay any contract penalties, or, you know, we know nothing about this guy. We just hired him out of the blue, and he's like, yeah, sure, why not? I have no idea. And you might think, okay, well, maybe we get attached to him. Maybe there's some stuff later on. Maybe, you know, we have, like, companion missions to do or something like that. Nah, none of that. It's the kind of thing that might be in a different game, but it sure as heck isn't in this one. Right, sadly we can't get any of the engine modules. Could try and... Yeah, it's a 40-ton of the Assassin. We could try and... I don't really want an Assassin, though. If I was picking up an Assassin, I think it would just be to sell it off. Shall we just scoop up the M lasers? And a bunch of SRM2s, heatsink. There was an ammo there somewhere. Right, we don't have any SRM ammo, so let's pick up the SRM ammo. If I can scoop up engines and sell them, that would be very, very nice in terms of being able to get a good payout. Right, so, yeah, this is the guy. He's just reasonably skilled. 43 is kind of middling skilled. I think the highest skilled pilots, you sort of... The skill cap is in like the high 60s, if not 70. I don't know if I've seen one quite as high as 70, but certainly the high 60s. So 43 is pretty decent. And we'll be able to look at the barracks at some point, but not just yet. There's apparently, I was reading, is it Reddit? It was somewhere. There's apparently a thing that I completely missed to do with the pilot overhaul that I might actually be able to look into as we're playing through, that I will be experiencing for the first time. So, yeah, despite having done a whole career mode before, I somehow missed an entire feature of a mod, so well done me.
Hi, Commander. Excellent work protecting that dig site. Spears thinks you did a hell of a job. A chip off the old block were his exact words, referring to your father, of course. That's quite the compliment coming from him. As you know, your father and Spears did a lot of work together over the years. Proved quite lucrative too, for both of them. Hopefully, we can continue that relationship.
Let's hope so.
But we need more than one client if we're going to survive out here. That's what I wanted to talk with you about. Our next move. We're operating with a clean slate now, thanks to the new mercenary ID number Spears provided. A whole new name, new outfit. Now we need to get to work rebuilding our capabilities and establishing our reputation. Won't be easy, but nothing worth doing ever is. You up for it?
What do you think?
I think we better get started then. Plenty of war zones in the inner sphere where we can pick up work. A few safe harbors as well. Places we can hire more pilots, get our hands on cheap supplies. First, we need to earn some sea bills to pay for it all. Other than that, I see a bright future ahead of us, Commander.
Me too.
Speaking of the future, we have a pending transmission from IE already. Seems Spears has put the word out to his colleagues that we can be trusted to get the job done. Before diving right in, I recommend we head to one of the industrial hubs in this region. Pockets of relative stability where we can acquire new equipment and mechs, hire new pilots. We have more mechs than Mechwarriors at the moment, so it would be good to expand the ranks. Repairs are cheaper in these regions too. Either way, I've marked the location of the IE contract on the star map. It's there whenever you're ready.
Roger that. Thanks, Rihanna.
You're welcome, Commander.
Okay, so I think that means we can finally get the full roster of everything. Yes, we can. So let's take a look at the star map, and we are here in this conflict zone. And that's not what I wanted. So basically, we use this to move around the place. It is the whole of the inner sphere, although I don't know if it has literally every system, but it must have a majority of the systems from the lore. There's certainly a lot that are mentioned, I think, like the important ones, places where stuff happened. HBS Battletech was, I think, just it was like a slice of the periphery. It was sort of like down here, I believe. So it was a kind of more zoomed in area, but Rogue Tech then expanded it to be basically the whole inner sphere and then some, including like the fringes that way up in clan space. But yeah, for the time being, we only know this one conflict zone, and you have to basically move around the map to find all the additional ones. Systems like this is your indication that these are sort of belts of more industrialized systems where there's a lot more infrastructure. So stuff is cheaper to do there because you're not having to make do with the facilities on your ship. Presumably you're able to take them out and go to a proper repair facility. So we'll do that. We'll jump to the nearest system, see if we can pick up some equipment. I don't know, by the way, if the market is across, like if it's per planet, in which case maybe it's worth kind of jumping to each planet in that industrial sector to actually see the full measure of what's on sale, or if the market is kind of like for across the whole thing. But anyway, yeah, we'll have a quick look at what's here, and we're not going to be able to get any mechs. The mechs get a lot more expensive with this mod. So even like basic light mechs, you know, these are several million Seabills. These aren't even fully repaired mechs. These are slightly busted up mechs. So this is where the economy side of things gets a lot harder, and the cost of like storage and whatnot goes up a fair bit as well. Just having the active hangar mechs, that doesn't cost you anything, but as you start to have more mechs in the active roster, that cost will go up quite a bit as well. Doesn't seem to really matter in terms of the size of the mechs. I think in the tabletop, actually, that is a thing. Like, you can fit like a pair of Urbies in the space that would be taken up by a single, like, 70-ton mech, for example. But, yeah, the game doesn't differentiate that much. It does sort of make sense for the additional costs, though. My headcanon is that you're essentially paying for, let's say, an additional ship to follow you around that carries the extra mechs, and that's why it ends up costing so much. Because there's no way you're fitting all this stuff on the Leopard, unless somehow the Leopard is, you know, a TARDIS. It's bigger on the inside. So, yeah, I don't think the game ever goes, oh, hey, yeah, that's what's happening. It's just headcanon, really. So, let's repair that mech. We will have some lasers available for upgrade, so we can spend a few pennies on that. We now also have this agenda available, which we will put on our newly enshrined colours. If anyone's thinking, hey, that looks like a shortbread biscuit tin, that's because shortbread biscuit tins tend to use the Stuart tartan colours, and yeah, it's kind of become the de facto, anyone can use this tartan. So yeah, this is why it might seem a familiar set of colours to you. I never did come up with a specific set of MacJedi tartan colours for CK2, but it's not like there was any occasion to, really. So I don't know, maybe people could suggest it, like what set of colours they think would suit the MacJedis, but to be honest, I don't really know. That's why I just went with the Stuart tartan. Anyway, so we have 2 light mechs, and they are pretty light. The Javelin actually has more armour than the Jenner. The Jenner is not particularly heavily armed. It has got a good ton of speed, though. It's over 100 kmh. It's actually faster than the Javelin. And I think it has more hard points as well. Yeah, it does. But it also doesn't have particularly good cooling, if I remember correctly. So, yeah. Right, we might... you can actually designate roles thanks to TTU rules, so you can actually say how you want the mechs to behave a bit on the battlefield, which is much more than the vanilla game lets you do, which is nice. Yeah, 1 single SRM. Okay, well, we can up-gun that very slightly. That should be pretty cheap to swap those out, although not as cheap as I would hope, to be honest. But yeah, one of the ways it does scale costs, and it's something I might tweak with YAML, is that the better parts cost more to replace. So even if you're just swapping out, say, a single laser, at the higher levels it can actually get pretty expensive. It can be like, oh yeah, 500,000 C-bills just to swap out this single part, even though you're in an industrial hub, because, you know, you're going from a level 3 to a level 5 part or something like that. So yeah, I will do some tweaking of those along the way. I can also have a quick look at the barracks, actually. We have pilots we can potentially hire, fairly low level at the moment in terms of their skill cap. The skill cap I don't think goes up, but we also yeah, we have the ability to like rename pilots. So I think we can even choose the like the call sign, the portrait that we want. And you know what, we'll actually do that with Mason. There's something I was sort of planning to do anyway, so yeah, he's now going for a hyphenated name. I'm not sure what this affects unless it affects the voice. Not really sure. You can even type in a little bit of a thing there. Yeah, it's even got a bit of backstory. Although there's a typo there. His parents Chloe Reed. That's not right. It wasn't Chloe Reed. I think somebody's misentered that name there. It was clearly Chloe MacJedi. We know his mother was a MacJedi, so that's obviously a mistake that somebody's made when they were typing that in originally. And yeah, there's some way of doing some training that I'm not sure how it works. This is the thing that I had apparently missed previously. Oh yeah, I was going to change the pilot portrait as well. So yeah, you can basically, even in the campaign, you can completely change what you want the pilot portrait to be like, but and the name as well, but they will still call you, obviously the voiced lines, they'll still call you Mason. So yeah, now there is one sort of iconic there we go, portrait there. Yeah, we're going to go with that. It's the absolute silliest looking helmet that is sort of in the canon. Some of the art, especially the art going back to the 80s, is just hilariously janky. And that is just one of the things that is hilariously janky, and I love it, so we're going to go with that. Anyway, I swear I read that there is a way in hubs to do pilot training as a thing. And I don't know how one does it, so I might have to go up and go and look at the mod page for that. Anyhow, let's also take a quick look at mod equipment. We'll buy up the basic medium lasers, and I don't want to spend too much. Let's at least have a replacement SRM4 for the Jenna. I think we also used up our replacement AC-10 as well, but that's kind of expensive. So we have, you do sometimes get these sort of global transmissions, you might say. You'll see that symbol on the map as well. So basically there are sort of transmission quests that you can only get in certain systems, but sometimes you'll get the transmitted ones as well. So yeah, we can actually, this is a mod by the way that lets me mouse over and see. So we'll stick maybe with story ones for now. So co-op's now available, that's fine. And this is going to be a follow-on. This is just sort of the reach level 4. Level 4 is when you get some extra stuff kicking in, like seeing rival mercenary companies, which was a feature that the DLC added. Okay, I don't know why I keep looking at the battle mechs. We want to go to Star Map, don't we? So we have a mission there, but we'll go back to Brooklyn first. We have, let's see, a Curita versus Davion, and Independence versus... Well, we don't have the wherewithal to do a multi-mission operation yet, that's for sure. Objective raid... I'm not sure what the high-level quest is going to be. We might not be able to take it at the moment, but I guess we'll jump there and find out. It's a fairly good strategy early on to decide who you're going to be in good with and who you're not going to have a good reputation with. Generally speaking, I've seen it recommended that, you know, beat up on the Capellans, House Liao, because nobody likes them. And I think there's probably a couple of unique mech variants that are more common in their space that you basically might struggle to get a good price on if you buy them new. But hell, if you're blowing them up, you can collect them bit by bit, I suppose. Okay, so this is the follow-on Interstellar Expeditions 1. Okay. So basically... an independent company from Harlock's Warriors. Okay, is that another Mechwarrior? Or mercenary company? Maybe? It's not quite clear. Anyway, go in and basically do an assassination. Okay, this is independence versus independence, so we'll come out as net neutral. Potential payout 400,000. I think that's the base payout. Yeah, so we'll take the extra salvage share, and I guess go with the damage coverage. Essentially, the better reputation you have with people, I mean, you also get a discount when it comes to buying stuff in their space, but it means you potentially can get much bigger payouts on missions. So this is why you want to have a couple of factions that you're really, really tight with, and have some like dump stat factions like the Capellans. So yeah, you could kind of roleplay it a bit and be like, oh yeah, I really like Davian Space, or I really want to be in tight with House Kurita, although I don't know why you would choose to be nice with House Kurita, but you know, some people are House Kurita fans, or the wonderful mess that is the Free Worlds League. Okay, we actually only have... Oh, yeah, we should have hired another pilot, but they were all kind of rather low-skill pilots, unfortunately. Can we even hire somebody? We can, and they're actually slightly higher quality than they would have been. Although, I don't know... yeah, I don't know, like, the regular, heroic, whatever, elite, there's all the kind of different ratings, but they seem to be a little bit independent of the max skill cap, and I don't know if it just affects... I don't know, like the max skill cap is like a conglomeration of all the different potential skills they could have, so I don't quite understand. Like this guy's actual weapon skills, that's a bit basic, but it means they have a higher cap in their piloting skills, for example. So you want a good balance, really. I mean, this one here is already coming out with maxed out laser skills. Let's hire you. Not that cheap.
This is Hitman.
But we do need another pilot. I do like that I don't know how much of these are like randomly generated.
Meet you in the ready room.
But yeah, there's a fair variety of voices, and you do have some uniquely voiced pilots as well.
I'm swinging.
Right, so you have a decent laser skill. We're going to put you in the Javelin, which we might eventually sell for something a bit beefier. Okay, we're not even that close to the cap, but we'll see how we do. Hopefully we don't lose anyone.
Okay, Commander. The only thing standing between us and this company's supplies is their leader, Anders Willman. Take him out, and we'll be able to get our salvage crews planetside. Willman's forces have mostly fled the area, but you should still expect some resistance.
Right, so, I think this is just a single target assassination, and it's literally just one location as well.
Target acquired.
Which is fine. Sometimes you get multiple targets, or you have to search across multiple locations before you can find who you're looking for. Actually, let's head up to the high ground, because I think that looks like a... I'm so used to like World of Tanks or warships being able to like control to get the mouse cursor. But yeah, the area that's directly ahead there's a chance we might find some salvage that we can pick up there.
If you
No,
find
it's
the
B,
acquisition,
isn't it?
just walk up
Like
to
that,
it
in fact.
to pick it up. Airstrike support
Hopefully
unavailable
it's
this go
not.
round.
Yeah, I know. I think I explained in one of the
Cargo acquired.
non-serious videos that I've got a binding to, like, if I click my mouse wheel to the left or right,
We haven't been authorized for airstrikes
for
on
some
this
reason
mission.
that is picking that up as being the same hotkey as doing the airstrike button, which I'm not sure how it is unless it has multiple hotkeys, because I think it's by default bound to H, so if I click H, that's what happens. But I'm pretty sure I don't have that bound to H, so I'm not sure. I'm not. Oh, don't run into my. Yeah, friendly fire is a thing. Sometimes your mechs will run into where you're firing. You can spam the chat furiously and call them noobs. Yeah, well, you could if this was, again, World Warships or World Tanks. Man, one of the much changes for the better that they made in Warships was eliminating friendly fire. I don't miss it at all. Just people being... Like, sometimes it was genuine accidents, and whenever I did team damage, like, I don't think I ever intentionally did team damage to anyone, but, you know, occasionally you'd have, like, your 20-kilometer torps go astray. Well, not even astray, it's just, you know, they'd be running for so long that someone would manage to run into them, even though they'd already been running for 15 kilometers and are clearly marked. But having said that, sometimes your attention is just so taken up by what else is going on that these things happen. But, yeah, it was just all round a change for the better. No, that's not a rock I can knock out of the way. I don't know why. I just got into the habit sometimes of, like, some of the rocks you can shoot, and it's like, yeah, shoot the rock. It's not like I'm breaking stealth or anything like that to do it. It's not like playing a destroyer in World of Warships and firing off your guns randomly and then getting spotted by the enemy team because of it. Right, so... what are we up against? It's a hunchback. They've got some damage already. Some leg damage, which we'll have to try and take advantage of.
New target, hunchback.
Hunchback's actually a pretty... Oh, it's the BF, the 20 BF variant as well. Yeah, Hunchback's actually pretty decent, I think. That AC-20 BF is nasty. And I probably shouldn't have closed to such close range, because they're doing the nasty damage, and now I'm dead. That was very silly of me. I shouldn't have done that. You can, in fact, take control. Again, I think this was added with one of the DLC that you can take control of. Wait, is it SRM bound to? That shouldn't be. I didn't check that. Whoop. Right, we just need to... Oh, there's this enemy Centurion as well. I'm looking at the wrong leg. No, don't look at me! Whoa, right, he's down. Yeah, if you have
Sensor suite.
more than one mech available, then getting knocked out like that... Right, that's just GTFO at this point. Getting knocked out like that is actually, like, it's expensive, but it's not an automatic restart as it is when you have just one mech and one pilot. It's now, like, now I'm in control, and it actually swaps the names around, which is a bit weird, but it doesn't mean that you've somehow magically swapped the pilots. It just means that you've taken control of the AI pilot directly. So it doesn't mean that, you know, you've somehow jumped to another mech magically, you've teleported, made yourself alive, and then suddenly that other pilot's dead. Right, we can take one hunchback part, which I think we'll do. I think the Centurion We might even have to just sell that because I think the Centurion is going to be... Ooh, the Centurion repair is going to be expensive. Yeah, if you lose the center torso, generally speaking, you lose the engine. Engines are expensive. Right, we get a Locust out for that, which is another... That's a very, very light mech. One of the lightest mechs that there is. It's fast, but... yeah, I think I was talking last time about that. There isn't that much of a role for properly scouting in this game. And certainly they don't really have... Like, later on there's things... I don't even know if it's YAML exclusive, but there's things like laser designator systems that you can mount to mechs that will improve the accuracy of your own and allied missile fire, but only guided missiles, so not SRMs. I think it's only LRMs and the guided systems that you get later on that are a bit more advanced. Yeah, I think we might just sell this, to be honest. I mean, yes, it is a fourth mech, but it's such a pair of M lasers, pair of machine guns. I'd certainly rather sell that than than the Javelin. Right, so yeah, we're definitely going to jump back before we... oh, rare mech, I wonder what that is. We're going to jump back before we do the repairs, because the extra penalty for repairing, especially when you have a mech that's been called out like that, is pretty prohibitive. I think I'm also going to wrap this up very soon. I've been recording for just over an hour, although I will have edited out a bit, but yeah, I don't want my episodes to be quite as long as that first one. That was just trying to get through the majority of those early missions. Right, so rare. When it pops up like this, basically it just means, hey, this is a completed, undamaged mech that doesn't need any repairs. Sometimes I think the price can be a bit higher as a result. I'm not sure, but yeah, that's actually not too bad price-wise, I think. And the Firestarter ain't a bad mech, but we definitely don't have the ability to field that. Right, so we're going to sell the Locust. We already have a little bonus from our standing with House Davian, so this is why it pays to build up reps with certain factions. That is that yeah, okay, so good thing we bought that replacement SRM. Sometimes stuff is damaged and can be repaired, but it was not in that case, so that's fine. The Javelin, I think that's just armor damage, no weapon damage, so that's fine. The Centurion, however, yeah, that's why you don't run face first into burst fire AC-20s. Burst fire AC-20s are very, very unpleasant, and that was very silly of me. Oh, no, can we even do those yet? These are to do with cantina missions, but I don't think we even have cantinas unlocked yet. Also, actually, while I'm here, make sure that the weapon group changes have managed to stick. Yeah, okay, right. So, not let me. I want to. Do I like literally not have enough money to repair? Is that why that's greyed out? Maybe sell the salvage. That's going to be rather less than I was hoping, but. Do I just not have enough? I was saying it was going to be 1.8 million, but maybe that's before the YAML. Cannot create work order. I wonder if that's just too expensive for me to repair at the moment. That might be a problem. That might be a problem. Is there any stuff we can sell? Right, medium rifle. Not a lot. Yeah, sell that flamer, sell the small laser. Spare LRM I think we're going to want to keep. And that's kind of cheap to upgrade, so we'll do that. Yeah, I might just sell the Javelin sooner than I was thinking. How much would the Javelin net me? Another near 2 million. Right, let me just... I was saying, oh yeah, I'm going to fiddle with the financial settings. I might do that just now, because otherwise we may have hit a bit of a early, unpleasant roadblock. And even if we sell the Javelin, if it's still going to, like, run me out of money, you can... I mean, I think it's probably possible to soft lock yourself by running out of money. I don't know if there's any mechanism to get around that, to be honest. So, yeah, I will fiddle with these settings a bit. Okay, well, I've tweaked things a bit, but, yeah, I don't... Oh, wait, it's got the repair symbol in there now, is it? Oh, apparently... Did it do that and I didn't notice? Okay, not really sure. Let's just... I mean... Commander Mason MacJedi is out for a while anyway, so we're going to have to skip ahead a fair bit. Right, let's take a look. I mean, our ongoing costs are kind of low at the moment. Later on, they will get up into the millions once we start to have things like assault mechs. But yeah, let's take a look at the Centurion. Is that now fully repaired? I guess? Okay, alright. That's fine. What we can do is swap out that, and that'll cost me a little bit extra. Yeah. Okay, right, so that's not as bad as... I'm not sure what was confusing me there. Yeah, I don't know. I might figure it out when I watch the footage back and slap my forehead and go, oh, yeah, I completely missed that it did queue up the order and that I'm a dummy and that I was then trying to tell it to repair twice or something like that. Or maybe it was me fiddling with the settings somehow. I don't know. Anyway, the good news is we're not going to have to sell the Javelin, so that's fine. And I didn't have to sell that hunchback bit of salvage, but c'est la vie. We'll pick up other salvage as we go on, and if I could get a sort of 45, 50-ton mech of some variety, I think that would be very, very useful. Anyhow, I think we'll wrap things up there. Yeah, only 2 missions in this one really, but you know, we had to redo that first interstellar expedition missions, but there's plenty of missions ongoing around here, and certainly it looks like plenty against... If it's a white square like that, it means it can't find a logo, and it's generally going to be something that's been added in by mods, so it might be like one of the periphery states up here, which for some reason it doesn't colour the periphery states. I don't know why. They do exist, like the Magistracy down here, for example. If you click on the systems, or what is this, the Outworlds Alliance, it might well be Outworlds Alliance, but or it might be pirates, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, there's things we could do, so we'll generate some cash and work our way towards another mech in the next episode. But so far, this wasn't a completely terrible episode, adventure. Yeah, we've picked up another 2 pilots, in fact. We now have 3/4 of a lance going, and despite my best efforts to run in and get myself killed, fortunately the game will not let that happen. I just need to not run face first into BF burst fire AC-20s. Yeah, that would be a good idea. Anyway, I was so eager to get the legs, I don't know. I just went for it. YOLO! Sure. Do the kids still say that? I have no idea. anyhow, that's it for this episode. If you enjoyed it, you can do all the usual things down below. And of course, as always, stay tuned for more.